8 actors before and after they got the call from Marvel. When Marvel Studio calls, you better answer because not only will you get the chance to play iconic heroes beloved around the world, but you'll also get some top-notch training to get your body into superhero shape. We've gathered some of the most amazing actor transformations from Marvel Cinematic Universe for your favorable condition. Not only did they reshape their physiques, but they also reshape their personalities. Hello and welcome back to Off-Cam Celebs. For today's video, we are going to talk about the 8 actors before and after they got a call from Marvel. Let's get started. Number 1. Robert Downey Jr. He might very well have one of the greatest comeback stories in the history of Hollywood. And the best, his career kicked off in the mid-80s with a less than successful stint on SNL. Thankfully, things picked up for Downey Jr. and when he appeared in a series of teen movie, hits such a weird science and pickup artist following this more comedic roles, and he ended up taking the plunge into more dramatic fare. His role in the film Chaplin even earned him an Academy Award nomination. But during the mid-90s, things started to fall apart. His struggles with drug addiction came to the forefront, and his career shuttered major setbacks. He was in and out of prison, and despite a successful stint on the hit TV show Ally McBeal, Downey Jr. couldn't seem to get his act together. Thankfully, at the turn of the century, he started to get his act together again, working double time to ensure a full recovery from his chaotic and harmful lifestyle. At first, it was a struggle. Very few people would hire Downey Jr. because of its insurance liabilities. But when Jon Favreau pushed Marvel Studios to cast him in the role of Tony Stark, and the studio took a chance in the world has never been the same. Playing a beloved superhero also gave Downey Jr. the opportunity to bulk up further. Emphasizing his new, healthier lifestyle, he went from a scrawny member of John Hughes' Brat Pack to the kind of guy who loves to show off his glorious muscular form while hammering metal, our hero. Number 2. Chris Pratt. While Chris Pratt's personal life thankfully never mirrored the trials and tribulations of Robert Downey Jr., Chris Pratt still experienced some significant changes once he was cast as Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord in James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy. Star-Lord, who was, but many fans will recall, Pratt's time as Andy Dwyer on a hilarious series of Parks and the Recreation. Andy was goofy, a bit clueless, and maintained a lovable teddy bear shape and demeanor. It wasn't Pratt's natural shape. And wait, but he maintained it for the duration of the series. In order to transform himself into a Star-Lord, Pratt trained tirelessly for 3 or 4 hours a day to shape and tone his body from the dovey Andy to the muscular Star-Lord. Pratt's time on Parks and Recreation resulted in audiences associating him with a goofball-type character. If you experienced that he was capable of delivering a more serious performance, but even though the character of Peter Quill's Q's comedic Guardians of the Galaxy gave Pratt plenty of more dramatic bits to play. Now, he's one of the Hollywood's top leading man, and it's all thanks to those incredible dance moves. Number 3. Chris Evans. Evans' career didn't start out with dissimilarly from Downey Jr. and Pratt's. He made his big breakthrough in the teen comedy Not Another Teen Movie before making his first foray into the world of Marvel. Really though, Fantastic Four and the Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer might not been the great, but Evans made a pretty solid Human Torch when his first superhero stint fell through. He tried his hand at more dramatic fare, starring in films like Danny Boyle's science fiction flick Sunshine. Evans gave a fantastic comedic turn in Edgar Wright's Scott Pilgrim versus World War II. But his second attempt at joining the Marvel ranks ending up and being far most successful. Evans' turn as Steve Rogers has become one of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's most beloved, and it's not difficult to understand why. Evans imbues the role with genuine humanity and sincerity. It doesn't hurt that he fills out that suit nicely, not that he was ever in dire need of losing 60 pounds, like his fellow Chris Pratt, but when Steve emerges from the pod, totally transformed it though, but not mutter an audible Keanu Reeves. Inspire and would be remiss if we neglected the mention of the final Chris in the MCU equation. Number 4. Chris Hemsworth. The god of thunder himself, unlike the other Chris's on our list, Hemsworth was recently and relatively unknown when he was appeared in 2011's Thor. His biggest role up to that point had been the J.J. Abrams' first a Star Trek film, where he played Captain Kirk's father, George Kirk Hemsworth. Had already been in the decent shape, but he still needed to prepare himself to take a role. He trained with former Navy SEAL Duffy Gaver, the same trainer Chris Pratt when ended using to get in shape. Broad Guardians of the Galaxy, they spent the majority of their training focuses on Hemsworth's arms and shoulders, probably to ensure that he was worthy of wielding. Hemsworth ended up gaining 20 pounds for the part, and he has maintained the look through the majority of his career, well, with the exception of Fat Thor. Number 5. Brie Larson. She had established herself as one of the Hollywood's most impressive young talents. She appeared in films like Edgar Wright's Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Destined Daniel, Short Term 12. Her biggest breakthrough came in 2015. Room the performance earned her her first Oscar for Best Actress. It wasn't much of a surprise when Marvel Studios cast Larson in the coveted role of Carol Danvers. Her talent is undeniable. It also wasn't much of a surprise that Larson engaged in an intense workout regimen to put her into the superheroing shape. Lucky for us, she ended up posting many photos and videos of her training time for her social media accounts. One of her favorite routines involved pushing in almost 5,000-pound Jeep for a full minute. Another involved weight push-ups, where she would wear a heavy chain on her back while doing push-ups. Of course, there were the standards hip thrust, walking lunges, and pull-ups, but honestly, that whole car thing has us super impressed, as you can no doubt tell from the movie and the film. All that hard work paid off. Though we were more than a little disappointed that there wasn't a scene involving Captain Marvel pushing a car up a hill. Number 6. Kumail Nanjiani. When he posted a photo of his new physique on his Instagram in late December, some thought of it is Photoshop. Turns out it was a real deal, and Nanjiani was preparing for his role in Marvel's Eternals film, and he said, "I never thought I'd be one of those people who would post a 30s shirtless Nanjiani," stated in the photo's caption, "but I've worked way too hard for too long, so here we are." It's a stark contrast from Kumail, and people have come to know and love from his work in the films like The Fake Sick and TV shows like Silicon Valley. So how exactly did he pull off his new look? Turns out it was a year's worth of devoted training with some of the best trainers and nutritionists Marvel Studios could buy. So just think, dear viewer, you could look like Mr. Nanjiani. And it is so easy as getting Marvel to hire you for one of their upcoming MCU films. You'll be the healthiest version of yourself that you've always wanted to be. Paul Rudd. Rudd's career kicked off in the mid-90s with roles in Clueless and Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers. In the early 2000s, he joined up the comedy crew, which include the Will Ferrell, Seth Rogen, Steve Carell, and Jonah Hill. His glorious mustache to turn as Brian Fantana confirmed that Rudd's status as one of the funniest human beings on the planet. His likable everyman quality made him the perfect candidate for Scott Lang and Marvel's Ant-Man, but would that everyman quality translate to a muscular superhero? From audiences were pleasantly surprised. By 2050, as Ant-Man to discover the 45-year-old actor had put in time at the gym. In an interview with Men's Journal, Rudd explained, "I was one of those people who always wanted the results but never wanted to put in the work for Ant-Man and the Wasp." Rudd went even further. He kicked off every day with an hour of cardio, then breakfast and weights. He would do a second round of cardio 3 times a week for half an hour. So quit coming up with excuses and get to work, get off your computer, and go outside and exercise. Number 8. Chadwick Boseman, the king of Wakanda. Before he got the call to join the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Boseman had established himself as a major talent with performances as Jackie Robinson, 42, and James Brown. In Get On Up, these roles required acting chops and a level of physical fitness. So when the time came to play T'Challa in the character's first MCU appearance, Captain America Civil War, Boseman was already off to a good start. It also didn't hurt that he already had a background in martial arts to ensure that he met the Black Panther's physical standards. Boseman worked an additional 4 hours a day with his personal trainer, Addison Henderson. They took particular inspiration from Christopher Priest, Black Panther. Ron Henderson put great care into ensuring that Boseman matched the characteristics comic book basic and that he didn't get too bulky. It was important for T'Challa to appear agile and quick on his feet. "We rarely stopped moving during our sessions," and Henderson explains to Men's Journal, "We trained like we were going into a fight of our lives." Now, what can you say about those transformations? Please let us know by leaving a comment down below, and if you enjoyed this video, please press the like button, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thank you for stopping by to watch. See you on our next video.